gotta say, when dinosaurs are getting some action, everybody's winning. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more. We have another regional in the books for you here, and this one actually kind of a very diverse regional for what you've been kind of expecting out of this format. We had two Mitsurugi decks actually taking down a big chunk of the top cut, and yes, we actually have pure Mitsu doing its job. You know, not those yummy hybrid builds that have been, you know, a little bit more of the mainstay as of late. But we also did get to see two yummy variants, which once again is a pretty normal thing for the regional level to be seeing as of late. And we also had two Draco Tail variants. Draco Tail has kind of continued to be this pretty dominant force in the meta as of late. You know, it was made fun of for being this deck that wasn't going to see success. And then you turn around and all of a sudden, you know, this deck has been doing wonderfully on the circuit. So that's really cool. Now, winning the event was actually not any of those. It was actually Ryzeal on a monomat. You know, more people have realized, you know, ripping cards from the opponent's hand tends to be a very, very strong asset to the current game. And to see that, you know, none other than this deck is taking advantage of ripping away those options, it's really, really strong. And actually, I think probably one of the most annoying parts of the meta. Also, you know, you can slap a Baguska on after you've kind of ended your turn. And, you know, you've also can pivot into the Protoss if you're playing the Protoss. It's crazy how strong that deck is. And then we also had Fire Kings sporting off the Jurrac package. Being able to destroy and cycle through those dinosaurs is a very, very important part of what makes that deck actually one of the bigger meta challengers that we've seen. And honestly, I'm kind of just impressed with what we've been seeing out here. It's a very, very nice thing to be seeing how this meta has been working out very, very nicely. Now let's pass on over to those deck lists. Winning our event here is none other than Ryzeal, and honestly, Protoss is such a problematic card, especially for decks like this, because this whole deck's purpose is just to cycle through and to get to those power cards and get set up, you know, maybe stop by an Ouroboros, maybe rip a card or two out of the opponent's hand and keep on going on the escalator of things. You also get to play Baguska as the secondary floodgate annoyance. This deck also has access to Featherstorm. Now, the fact that you're getting all of these additional bonuses for this it's kind of crazy to me just to see how well that this deck has been working out. So also you get the number unbreakable and all that fun, or excuse me, the counter trap card down there. But Thrust is just going to be toggling into so many devastating pieces for you. But this is what modern era Yu-Gi-Oh is all about right now, man. It's how much of the annoying good stuff can you throw at your opponent. Next up here, wow, we have Draco Tail. Now, I do see we are going with the two branded fusions in this. This has been a pretty normal thing for this deck now, where you're just using the branded package to basically be able to facilitate putting a lot of bodies on the field and, you know, making it easier to get through the fusion stuff because, you know, Albaz is a pretty gosh darn good card to use. We've also seen that Sting has found its way into the side deck now as pretty much a guaranteed thing. Because remember, most people were just like, you know, the third trap is not all that good. You started to see a lot of people kind of making those bounce decisions back and forth on this. And honestly, for the time being, I don't think it's been necessarily a bad call. You know, you're looking at something pretty consistent here, really starting to come together. So, yeah, good stuff to actually see the Fallen of Albaz just building its way into this deck. And, I mean, this just kind of proves that pure Fallen of Albaz is kind of just done in the meta. Next up here, we have Fire Kings for you, making top 4. Now, this is where you get to build in the Jurrac package into the deck, and you basically get to go to town with setting up the Jurrac meteor dumps to just put your opponent into a bad position. It's kind of crazy to me because you don't even need to build in the extra fat. You know, like we're not playing the field spell for Jurracs. It's just you're playing 3 of the level 1s, and that's as far as you have to go with the package. You're also going to notice, yes, that is the fire barrier statue down in the side deck. The fact that we can actually play the fire barrier statue for this really, really, really can ruin some of your opponent's days. And I kind of appreciate that. Like, this says a lot about how this deck can kind of build up. Also, we get to play Triple Dominus Impulse, which also makes this into a very, very, very strong calculated counter attack against the meta. Next up here, we have Mimighoul in combination with Yummy. Now, I did not expect to see somebody coming up with anywhere near an idea like this, but if this is something that is able to work for people, you know, why not try it, right? I mean, one, you get a good consistent streamline of extra level ones, but also, you know, Mimighoul Maker gives your opponent a nice little pain in the butt for them to deal with a consequence, and you just get the monster, you know, vacated back onto your premise. That seems fine. You're also playing 50 cards in this to basically play the extra little chunk of monsters, but I mean, this doesn't really change your game plan so much as you would think it does. It's just extra level ones for you to be able to kind of cycle through with, while saying that, hey, I was experimenting around with something a little bit more spicy, and it, you know, actually ended up working out in my favor. Next up here, we have good old boring Mitsurugi. Now, the thing with Mitsurugi variants right now is, like, going pure just feels like a better option, because getting access to Futsu to make sure that, you know, those bodies can keep floating back to the field is usually pretty strong. Also, you know, going with the 3/1/1 on the main deck monsters, while, you know, of course, Habagiri still rolling through as a massive one. And we're also going with 2 copies of Pot of Extrav in the main deck. While I'm not going to say you don't necessarily care about your extra deck, but Dynamondo is one of the better cards that we can access to kind of help us out. So that's a little bit of a bridge point here that you got to think about, is just how much advantage can we actually work with, and what is the advantage going to be on the payoff for that. I also do see, still siding the one of Wozu. I did see some builds where we're trying to side multiple Wozu, and that was getting a little bit weird. We also do have, oh my gosh, more Habagiri and friends. This one, you do see an emphasis on the super polys here. I see we are also side decking the Draco Tail, basically fusion monster down here. You're basically going to be able to fuse apart and make the card that just says nope, no fun allowed to that deck. We're also going with the triple copies of Dominus in here. And of course, one Megatama, one of the ritual. Everything's pretty standard in the lineup for that. Though this build is playing 1 copy of Nibiru, I guess on the off chance you get it. And we're also playing the Pot of Prosperity in here as well. We're also side decking the Fossil Dyna. We've seen traditionally where you'll board in the Fossil Dyna here to be able to fully disrupt the opponent, which I think is good. You also do get to see, hey, look, it's our boy Wozu. Everybody likes a single copy of Wozu. It is typically the best method of things to work with. So we're working pretty well here. And then we've also got, more copies of Draco Tail Madness. Going with the 2 branded fusion. This build's also playing a Magna Hut in the main deck. While you're also seeing, yes, we are playing Meowls in the main deck. Meowls has kind of been ramping up a little bit more as attack option, because, you know, if Mitsurugi does establish, you know, you'll at least get a draw or 2 off of the monster basically floating back from the graveyard. And that actually does work out pretty well. We also do once again see Sting moving into the side, or the main deck here, as kind of like a permanent mainstay. We also have the additional Meows in the side deck, along with a copy of Blazing Cartesia. This build's actually not playing Blazing at all. We're also side decking the additional copy of Nibiru. So we got what I would say would be all of our options definitely taken care of in this deck. So we're not actually looking too bad here. And our last list is kind of boring. I mean, it's basic Yummy. There's nothing wrong with basic Yummy. We're just playing 1 copy of Marshmallow. Probably didn't have access to others. So I guess on a budgetary level, you're not looking too bad on that front. We're also going with the 2 copies of Pyre Map in here, which is very, very strong. We also do get to see, of course, the good old Harpy's Featherstorm getting the job done. Oh boy! Truthfully, outside of that, this meta looks very... Now, the little things are what you're really looking for in this meta to get excited about. And it's not that hard to do. You just got to know where you're looking. So please, comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.